Hello and what's up guys, welcome to another video in AK Academy. It's Ahmed Muzaffar with you. I'm Microsoft certified trainer and a .NET full stack developer. Today in this session I'm going to make a full video about LINQ, how we can manipulate and process data with LINQ, use the most popular functions that LINQ provides us with. So I'm going immediately get started. I'm going to explain the functions while I'm creating the project and manipulate the data. So let's get started. First, create a new project. Here I'm going to create a console.NET Core application. Next, C# topics, call it LINQ demo. Hit create. Okay, perfect. Here I have a new project. To manipulate a good amount of data, I have generated a random array of people, and put them inside a JSON file. So you can import that file and you'll get access to more than 200 people. I'm going to show you the file in a bit. The file and the project is going to be available on GitHub. You can find the link in the description box below. So here is the file. When you open it, you can check here you have a 200 objects of type person. Each person consists of ID, first name, last name, city, and birth date, in addition to the salary, and that's enough to make like almost most of the functions that LINQ provides to us. So let's get started first by reading this file and put those people inside an array of people. So first I'm going to create the object, public class person, integer ID, string first name, string last name, city, and decimal salary. We have as well birth date. Get and set. So here we have the class of type person is ready. Now let's install the newtonsoft.json package to read that JSON file. Very good. Here it is, newtonsoft.json. Hit install. Perfect. Now I'm going to create a function here. Static person returns an array of people here. Read people from JSON file. Okay, using var reader equals new stream reader. But the name of the file, which is people.json, string JSON data equals reader dot reader dot read to end. Very good. Now var people equals JSON convert for the library, deserialize to person array and JSON data. Here we go, and return people. Very good. Here now I have 200 people, so put them here. People equals to read people from JSON file. Let me remove this. Very good. So now let's import LINQ, the namespace of LINQ, which is system.LINQ. Amazing. LINQ stands for Language Integrated Query, which gives us a huge set of functionalities to manipulate this data and querying it as well. We we have two tabs. We can manipulate the data from objects like here, array, list, enumerable, or any set of collection, or from a database with entity framework. We call that link to tables or link to SQL. But here in this demo, we are going to implement it against an array of type person. So we are using link against link to objects. We can tap links in two ways. Either we can use the extension method that are existing here, or we can follow the query syntax. We are going to see that in a bit. But the difference between a query syntax and method is, in fact, the query syntax converts to the method shape. So, but it is just a way, so you can write a more clear code, especially when you have huge queries. So methods is getting a little bit hard to read, especially for other developers who see or deal with your code. But in general, for me, I would prefer the methods way. But in some scenarios, when you have some complicated grouping operations and joins, something like this, so I prefer to use the query syntax. So let's get started by seeing the most popular functions, and then try to make some queries using the methods way or the query syntax way. So let's get started. First, let's see if I want to get the first person on this list. Just the first person. So get the first element. Can use var first person equals people dot. All the functions here with this arrow icon is an extension methods came from system.link. So the first function I'm going to use is called first. So first gives me the first person in the list. So I can print the first name, or here I'm going to create another function to help us print or override the toString function here. So can save some time each time. Console.writeLine. Print the person like this: first name, last name, Barcelona, city, then birth date, to short date string, at the end print the salary this way. Okay, remove that. Very good. So now this function returned the first person inside this list. Another thing, we have some similar functions like the last person, people.last. And we have as single. We are going to talk about this after a little bit. Let me complete the console.writeLine last person, print the last person, and here print the first person, and let's run that. Okay, sorry, here I've set should set it like this. Okay, let's run. Now perfect. So here you can see the first person on the list, and this one is the last one. Going to print the ID as well. This is gonna make things more clear. So the first person is with the ID 10,000 and the last person is with the ID 10,199. Very good. If you notice here, I have two functions, first and another function called first person people dot first or default, and I have last, and last are default as well. So what is the difference between first or default, and last or default? First, if there is no elements, if this function returns no elements, actually here it's gonna throw an exception, but here the result gonna be null. So if you use first and there is no first element inside the list, so let's assume that the list is empty, this is gonna throw an exception. But first or default gonna return null. So highly recommended to use first or default. This one is recommended because easily you can just validate what you get, and you don't need to use try and catch just to overtake the situation. Simply here you can just check if person equals to null. So here do something like person not existing, and here it is existing process. And the same thing here in last, you can use last or default instead of last. So if there is no last person, it's not gonna throw an exception. Here it's gonna just returns null, and that's it. In addition to this, we can pass an expression here to filter the list. Like give me this function now gonna return the first item in the whole list from the 100 people, but I can add some expressions. Let's see. Well, first person starts with A. So let's check people dot first or default, and here we can pass a lambda expression that takes person as a parameter, and we can pass a condition which is p dot first name dot starts with the letter A. So this function right now is gonna return the first person that his first name starts with the letter A. Now console.writeLine first person starts with A. Let's run that. Okay, so the first person starts with A, Alex, and his ID is 10,022. Very good. And also here for last or default, another function I want to talk about is single or default. Get single person. Single or default, it's similar to first and last. It returns only one person, but here if you have a list that consists of 200 people like this, and you call first or default, so it's gonna give you the first person, or last or default gonna give you the last one. And even if you pass an expression, it's going to evaluate this expression and try to filter the data and give you the first one of that list. But single or default gonna return only one value, and the list must the list or the expression must contain only one element. So you can use it with the ID, or when you want to make sure that there is only one object of this type. Otherwise it's gonna return null if you are using single or default, or it's gonna throw an exception if you are using single. Let's see. People dot single or default. This one gonna return null because the list here contains 200 people, so it cannot return single or default. But if I passed an expression to it and tell this function that give me the person whose his ID is equals to 10,004. So now actually I'm mentioning a specific person, and there is only one person that has this ID. So let's run it. Okay, here what you can see. But if I tell this function like give me single or default that his first name starts with A, so it's gonna return null because there are multiple items starts with A. So the expression here must return only one value, so you can use the single or default. Here is the difference, and hope they are clear for you. Now let's move to something else. Let's use some mathematical functions like max, average, and min, etc. So let's get the person with the highest salary, or let's get the maximum salary that we have. Max salary equals people dot max. What is the property we are going to get the max of it? B dot salary. Okay, let's print that. So dot right line. Highest salary is max salary, and we can get the min salary as well using people dot min b dot salary. Okay, so here is our maximum salary, and here is the minimum salary we have. So the same thing, you can just pass any type of property, like you can pass the birthday here to get the older employee or the older person, and the man to get the younger person. The same thing, or even you can pass just the first name, so it's gonna give you the person with the highest, starts with Z, for example, his first name, and min start with A, etc. Now let's move to something else. The average, we can now average salary equals people dot average for the property salary console dot write line. Salary is average salary. Good. Run that. So here is our average salary, 8,609.76. Very good. Now we have another function called any. This function, we can use it to check if the list contains any person, any people, or any sort of data or no. So if you want to check, you can say if people dot any console dot write line, there are people in the list, else write line, no people in the list. It's pretty simple. So when we run, of course, we are going to get there are people in the list. Very good. Now, other function we have is the function order by. order. We use order for sorting. So let's see, var people ordered or sorted by age. Come on. Use people dot order by. We have order by and order by descending. We're going to use order by. We can pass the property which we wanna to sort the people by, p dot birthday. Now, as you can see here, I ordered enumerable, or you can say dot to array. So here I have array of people, array of person, but it is ordered by the birth date. So I can iterate over this function. People sorted by age, and print them. Let's put a separator here. People by age. Console.writeLine item. Wow. Awesome. So you can see here that here is the older one, and go up and up till the younger guy we have born in 1997. Very good. You can use order by descending to descend in the opposite order. Order by, if you want to order the people by birth date first, and if the birthday is the same, you want to order them by, for example, the first name, you can use the function order by dot then by. So then by is an expression dot first name. So first order the people by birthday. If the birthday is the same, identical for multiple people, then order those people by the first name. So sort them by letter A, B, C, D. Or you can use then by descending to sort them Z, X, Y, Z, Y, X, etc. This is about order. Now, let's talk about two important functions, which are take and skip. Take and skip. Very good. Var first 10 people. People dot take. Dot take takes an count 10. So this is gonna return the first 10 people in the list. It's pretty simple, right? We have another function called skip. Skip 10 people. People.skip 10. This function gonna return the people from 10 till 200, and it's gonna skip the first from 11, sorry. It's gonna skip the first 10 people. We can use this together to implement paging. Like if we want to get the people 10 by pages, each page contains 10 people. So we can use them together to implement this function. Let's see how we can implement that. Paging. Now first let's define the page size equals to 10. Each page contains 10 people. Integer page number equals 1. Var people by paging equals people dot skip. We have to skip the number of the page number minus 1. Why minus 1? Because if you are in the first page, like the page 1, so you don't need to skip anything. So 1 minus 1, it is 0, so we don't skip anything. Multiply by page size. So imagine we are in the second page. In the second page, we need to take the people from 11 to 20. So the second page, 2 minus 1 equals to 1, multiplied by page size, which is 10. So we get the result 10. Then skip 10 and take page size. Let's see the result. First, I'm gonna comment this because okay. Comment them again. People by paging. Console.writeLine item. And add another separator. Paging. Wonderful. I'm gonna set a breakpoint here just to make things a little clear for you. Okay. And start again. Okay. When I stop here, I have the people. They are 200. Dot skip. The skip, I passed here this. The page number 1, minus 1, gonna give us 0, as you can see here. Multiply page size, which is 10. 0 multiplied 10 is 0. So skip 0, skip nothing, which is correct because we are at the first page. We don't want to skip anything. Then take 10 people. Let's see the result. Come on, we have to add console. .read line here to not stop the project. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the first 10 people from IDs 10,000 till 10,009. If I want to get the page number 2, okay, brilliant. I get the people from 10,010 till 10,019. Very good. So this is a very important way to implement paging because you need paging almost in all your projects, especially when you are dealing with good amount of data or web apps. Like imagine you have in your system, you are building a system and you have about 1,000 customers, and this application is a web application. Of course, you won't show the 1,000 customers on the page at once. You have to implement paging so the user of your application can get the customers 10 by 10 or 50 by 50, maybe 100. So this gonna improve the performance of your app. Now, talk about two important functions. Let's move on to the function where. Where just filter the data and give us list of the filtered data. Let's see. Filtered data equals people dot where p. Give me all the people that the birthday bigger than 1990 and as well as p dot salary is higher than 3,500. For each filtered data console.writeLine item good. Let's add a separator. Where? Let's run the app. Sorry, here it must be the end. Okay, perfect. I got a very big list of people who are older than 1990 and their salary is bigger than 3,500. Very good. So you can use where to filter the data. And by the way, you can use all the function combination, like you can say where.take 10.skip 2.order by. Can make a combination of methods to query your data in the way you want. That's perfect. This is where. Now we have a very, very, very important function that LINQ provides us with, which is grouping. Grouping data is a very important function, but for beginners maybe it's a little bit complicated, so let me explain it to you. What's a grouping and why we need grouping? Let's imagine here I have a set of people A, B, C, D, and E. This is from like London, and this is from New York City. So A and B from London, C from New York, D from New York, and E from New York. So now we want to group the people by city. This process, here I have now 5 objects. Each object has first name, last name, salary, and city. But from these 5 people, we have only 2 cities, which are New York and London. If I group this list by city, I'm going to have a new structure, which is list of lists. What are these 2 lists? Let's see. First, I'm going to get full object, which is list of lists. The first object is a list, but this object consists of 2 things: an object called key and list of items. The key here, the value of the key is London, and those objects are the people who are from London. Another list is the key is New York, and here we have a set of people who are from New York. So I can group the people by any property. So I can divide them in a specific way, which is a very powerful and useful feature. For example, you are building an application, and you need to know where are your customers. So you group your customers by countries, for example, and you get a set of countries, and in each country you have a set of customers. So you can calculate the average, for example, purchase or sales in each country, and you can calculate the number of customers in each country. You can make good statistics from this. This is just a very simple example. So let's see how we can implement this. So let's imagine I want to group the people by city. Let's see, var people by city equals to people dot group by. I want to group them by city, b dot city. So here, this object is list of lists. Here I have list that contains an grouping object which contains the key and the list of the people that are related to that key. The key here is the city, and inside each object is contained the list of the people related to that city. So if I want to print that on the screen, let's see how can I do this. First, I can loop or iterate over the people by city, iterate over the first list. Let's see what is the type of each item. I grouping string is the city, and person. Person here is a list or a collection. If I say item dot, you can see I have this property key, which is of type string, because I grouped the data by city, which is of type string, and the object itself contains the people. So you can see I have skip, sum, take. I have all the functions that links provide to me to manipulate and query data over collection. So I will print the city, item dot key, and I can iterate over item, call it person, and iterate over item, because even item is a collection as well. And I'm going to call this, instead of item, call it a group, city group. This is more clear. So each city group contains the key, which is the city, as I've said, and the city group itself is a collection of type person. So if I iterate over it, in each iterate it gives me a person. So I can console the right line, tab, print the person. Okay, let me comment this and add a separator, grouping, okay, here we go. You see each group, like Barcelona, I have all these people in Barcelona. Walter, Adam, Roger. You see the city of all those people is Barcelona. Here now I have the second group, which is London. Again, all the people that are from London mention Cairo. So this is a grouping. Hope it's clear. And for the last time, I'm gonna make another recap. Group by, I want to group those people by city. So I get an object called enumerable I grouping. The I grouping here, if we click on it, okay, here you can see it takes a T key and element, but element is I enumerable. So the key is an object which is of type the property that we have grouped the data by, which is string here, and the element is the element that are related to that key, which are people in our situation. So city, people by city is list, because we have list of all the keys, Barcelona, London, Cairo, etc. And each one of them had the key. At the same time, they are a collection, enumerable of type person, contains all the people related to this key. Okay, if you have any question or if anything is not clear, you can just post your question in the comment section. Now, that was a very quick overview. Let me see how we can implement the LINQ but using the query syntax. So, query syntax. Actually, method syntax is more powerful, but query syntax is more readable, especially for other developers. Let's see if I want to implement a query to get people by or people with high salaries. Okay. First, use the keyword from. Give each person a parameter. I'm gonna name, call it P, in people. Now I can implement where P dot salary is higher than 5,000 and B dot city equals to, you can say Cairo, and you can add as much conditions as you want. And here I can say order by B dot first name or B dot ID, but descending. At the end you can say select P. So actually it's more gentle, but it needs like for me I prefer the methods way. But imagine here if you have a lot of properties and you have very huge condition here. In this situation, query syntax is much way better, but the performance of methods way is better because this one gonna be translated into this shape, then gonna be executed. Another thing I want to talk about is the select and the projection in general. Projection. Select, we have a function called select here, or a function here called select. This function enables you to project a data. What do we mean by projecting data? Here I have a list of people, but imagine I only need the IDs of those people. I don't want to return all this object, or I want to return the IDs of the people who are older than 1990. So I can return only the IDs by using select. Let's see how. Var olders people IDs. Just get the IDs. People dot where B dot birth date less than new date time. I have limited the filter dot select. Select takes expression as well P, but what I want to return is just B dot ID. So this gonna give me an enumerable of type integer. This can only return the IDs of the people, not the whole object. If I try to overload, iterate over that, console.write, not write line, item, the space, okay. So here you can see I just returned the IDs. This is very important function, especially when you have very huge objects. Like sometimes if you are getting data from your database and you have customer table, and each customer consists of, let's say, 50 property from first name, middle name, last name, like national number. So you have huge amount of data, and you need to implement like a specific function on this customers. So you need only the IDs. So instead of getting all the customers you want and putting them inside the memory, you can use a projection by using the select function and just getting the properties you want. So you can tell the CLR only gives me ID. So as you can see here, you will receive an enumerable of type integer only. Or you can even create a little complex object, like give me here projection people equals people dot select p new people, new person, sorry. And now you want, for example, id p dot id, and you want first name p dot first name. Okay, so here gonna returns only id first name, and other property is gonna be null. Or you can return an anonymous object, new. You can create the properties you want. Like I want id and I want full name equals to p dot first name p dot last name. So here you have an enumerable of anonymous object. We can iterate over them. Projection people console.writeLine item dot, we have id and full name. So select is a very powerful function, and here we can implement it the same way. Here we told the LINQ just return p, so the person, the whole object, but you can say p dot id to return just the id, or p dot first name, or you can create an anonymous object the same way we did here. So LINQ is very powerful function, and as well as it's very interesting. Like I enjoy writing LINQ queries or calling those methods that you can do the magic with them. You can process and querying 100,000, even million of data in a very powerful way, and in a very simple. Like at the end, the final code is pretty clear and pretty readable. If you are getting used to write complicated queries here and working in a company on a very huge project, manipulating querying data gonna be very easily. There are multiple functions that are available for you with LINQ, like people.count to get the count of the list, and we have a bunch of other functions that are available, but you have contains to check if there is an specific person, is it existing in the list or no. But that was very quick general overview for the most used functions. Hope you enjoyed this session, and as I told you, if you have any question, you can just put it in the comments section below. This simple and random demo can be available for you on GitHub in the link in the description box. Hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you like the video, hit the subscribe and the like button, share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on another one.